fun topic today, and that is six kinds of compliments that men wish they would hear more often from a woman. Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. Once again, I would like to welcome back Robert Manni, the host of Guys Guy Radio and Guys Guy TV. Robert, thanks for being here again with me.
Oh, I love being here with you, Silka, and I hope we can help out all your viewers, listeners, and subscribers and followers, the thousands and thousands, soon to be millions.
Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears. Well, we have a fun topic today, and that is six kinds of compliments that men would love to hear more often. We talk a lot about, what women want to know about men, get into their minds, et cetera, and that's when, why you're here so much. And boy, we need you up for this article today with some of the suggestions. Here's the first one. And again, six kinds of compliments that men wish they would hear more often from a woman. The first one, or category, I should say, is compliments that show you believe in him. And that makes sense. It says that one of the biggest compliments is, like, I believe in you. I love how driven you are. How important is that?
I think it's hugely important. I got to tell you, I was single, as you know, for a long time, and my wife, while we were dating, she sent me a card one time, and it said, instead of saying "I believe in you," she made a typo and said, "I believe on you." And I always remembered. I laughed, and but I know what the intention was, and it really got to me right here in my heart, and that was it. So if you can tell a man that you believe it, that's the first time I ever heard that from somebody that I dated my entire life. And that made all the difference in the world. If I was on the bubble, that got me over the edge. So I think that's hugely important. Believing in somebody, there's no greater compliment. There's nothing better you can say to somebody, whether it's a man or a woman. If you believe in them, that means a lot.
That does. Well, thank you. I didn't expect that kind of a strong, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's great for women, including me, to hear, because sometimes it's difficult for us, or for me anyway, to sometimes give sincere compliments. If I compliment, it always is sincere because I mean it, but the delivery of it is, I sometimes, for some reason, have an issue with that. And you'll see that here in a little bit.
Well, can I say one thing? I think you just hit on something extremely important. When you're going to compliment somebody and you really want it to have meaning, make sure you mean it. Because if you don't mean it, it's gonna just fall flat. And you don't want to be BSing a guy anyhow. You want to, if you do believe in them, tell them. If you are not sure if you believe in them, don't tell them that.
Yeah. He gives two other examples here, like whatever you put your mind to, I know you'll be able to achieve it. You always have.
That's good.
That's a good one. Or of course, people want to work with you. People trust you and your abilities, as they should. And yeah, I would like to hear that too. So I totally get it. This is good direction. So
it means everything. During the work I'm doing and we're doing now, when my wife tells me out of the blue, she said, you're walking the walk. You're being authentic. You put this name out for yourself, but you're doing the work, and you've taken a decade to really work on yourself to do this, and you should be proud of that and just keep going.
What a nice wife you have. I can't wait to meet her.
She's really a terrific person.
Yeah. That's really, really great. The second category here, I get it, but I'm not quite so keen on, so to speak, body and appearance specific compliments. I get that that's important, but I think that can also be a slippery slope. Talk to me about that.
Well, I think if you want to compliment a man, physically, the first thing, and just forgive me for if it's a PG show, it's like if you can compliment and believe it, their manhood, then do so. I remember 2 times in my entire life, my dating career, one woman said, "You're beautiful." I still remember it. That was 30 years ago. And another, who I ended up marrying, said, "Jackpot." And I said, "I like that." But you got to mean it. But if you can compliment a man on his physical beauty, do so, because believe me, every guy likes to be told that they look good, particularly when they're not wearing anything. So if it's real, say so. If it's like, don't say anything.
So funny. He says here, oh, you look so handsome, or whoa, you weren't kidding when you said you've been working out.
Right. Well, I
You
mean, you
look.
got to make it real. You got
Yeah,
to
I
use
know.
your
See,
own
that's what I'm
words.
saying. I have
Yeah,
trouble. Like
like,
sometimes I feel that way, but then I get into the goofy talk and
don't think. Just say what you said. Say exactly what's on your mind. Like, I'm not going to go deeper down the rabbit hole I went in, but just say it, whatever.
yeah, and be yourself. That's what I have to remember, is be myself. I think one of the reasons maybe this area bothers me a little bit is because I'm coming from the female perspective. You get, as a woman, you're kind of used to bodily compliments on appearance, and
Right.
to me it just doesn't. It means a lot more to me if you compliment me on accomplishments versus what I look like. So
Sure.
anyway, but it's good to know that, or that you've confirmed that this is important to men. And I should know that because I know it's important to Paul.
Right. And make
So,
it be sincere. But, the fact that women get a lot more bodily compliments is because men are visual.
mhm.
So they're expecting, subconsciously to figure that women think the same way as we do, and it's not necessarily true. So when we do get a compliment about our physical appearance, it goes a long way if
That's a
it's
great point.
sincere.
That's a great point. Great point. Compliments that acknowledge his efforts, that show him, as he writes here, you appreciate what he does, and when you do that, you tend to get a lot more of it.
Agree completely. Also, I think everybody, men and women, want to be acknowledged for the fact that they put in the work.
Mhm.
And sometimes when we put in the work, we don't automatically get our goals the way we want, the way we imagined, or with the same timing.
Well, and he says that you can even do this, on a daily or in small increments, if you will, just something like, you're so good to me. What does it says here? Thank you so much for cooking for me. This is delicious. You can fix anything, can't you? Again, uh, I love how gentle you are with me. That's nice. That's nice.
That's
So it's
very
little
nice.
things like that. I'll link to the article so you can read it. But that I like this. Thank you for being so thoughtful. I can
That's a
say
great
that.
one. Yeah.
That's a great
Right.
one. Thank you for being so,
Hmm.
or thank you for listening. I really appreciate you letting me vent. I don't know how many women can say that honestly, but wouldn't that be? But thank you
I don't
for
think they
listening.
have to say that because that sounds it sounds like it's expected because I think one of the skills men have to learn is like just to listen to their partner
Right.
without trying to fix things
Mhm.
because that's just part of it because that's the little bit subtleties and difference in how we communicate. So I think we have to be careful once again to make it authentic, make it sincere, and not overthink it.
Right, right, right. But you think thank you for listening. You would feel that would be a good compliment for you. I know it is for women to receive it, just like you said with the bodily thing, but men would like to be thanked for listening.
Yes, because I think that'll inspire them to listen more.
Good. Well, that's what he says. Compliments that show the next category here. Compliments that show that you respect him. That makes all the sense. That studies have actually shown, and I think we've talked about this, that men feel respect as love, and they put a higher emotional premium on being respected than necessarily feeling loved.
Well, that's ego again, because
Mhm.
respect. I think it's all about love. Loving somebody to me is far more important than respecting them. But of course, to love them, you probably need to have some respect for them, anyways. So it's up to the individual man to determine how how much their ego dictates how much respect they need to feel. Because ultimately, if you don't have self-respect, you're not going to get it. Externally is not going to matter. You have to respect yourself. And then
Mhm.
if you hear it from somebody else, that's always a great thing. But if you don't respect yourself, somebody else saying it's nice, but it's just
Mhm.
words.
Yeah, here he actually does have a couple of really great words here. Well, you're a good man. I'm proud of you. That's easy. I like this one. It took a lot of courage to admit you were wrong. I really admire that you were able to do that. I like that. And I
I don't know.
love how for
Courage is a little bit big there. I'm sorry to interrupt.
think so.
You can admit you're wrong. It's not necessarily courageous. It's like you should be able to admit you're wrong
Mhm.
if you were wrong. Every day we make mistakes, some bigger than others. But if you can't admit you were wrong, and there is a lot of people who will never admit a mistake or being wrong. And that's their problem that they have to deal with. But I'm wrong all the time, and I don't have any problems admitting that. That's just me.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm a doofus for that, whatever. But I think I don't think it takes courage. I think it's just the way to be. It's a sign of being a man or a woman to be able to admit that you're wrong when you're wrong. Is That's just the all check marks, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Well, and then here, I love how forgiving you are, if they are, of course, that it took a lot of strength to be the bigger man back there.
Yeah, I think, the second one, the latter, is good about, it takes strength to be the bigger person usually means walking away or not escalating a situation,
Mhm.
or if somebody says something that's not right, that you don't overreact. That's good. And to be acknowledged for that, that's a good thing.
I think male or female, I think appreciating or complimenting somebody on being willing to apologize, or I really respect the fact that you apologize for this. I really appreciate.
That's good.
I think that's really important. I know.
Agree
Yeah.
completely.
And if you get more of that, then all
Hmm.
the better. Compliments that show that you trust him and his ability to lead, that the majority of men have a deep level love of being seen as the leader in their lives and relationships.
Well, every man wants to feel like they're captain of their own ship, but you don't want it to be like the guy's in charge either.
Mhm.
I think when I looked at the list, the last one on the entire list, I thought was the most important one. If you want to get on the good side of them, you're the funniest guy I know.
You just spoiled the ending. You just spoiled the ending, Robert. I
I'm
apologize.
sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
But if you can, guys want to feel like to a man, I think that they have a sense of humor and that they're funny. And then most guys think they're funny, and a lot of guys are hilarious. So if you can tell them that they're funny, you don't need to hear it all the time, but having a sense of humor really can get you out of a lot of sticky situations. And it's a good thing to have a quick,
Yeah,
sharp mind and be able to have a quip here and there. So
right.
guys like to hear that. They like to
Right.
be acknowledged for that.
Well, and that is the last category you said, that compliments that show how you're affected by him, that that how he makes you feel when you're around him. That's important, because that's something that men feel a lot. Go weak in their knees or whatever. But stuff like, you always know how to make me smile. I respond to you on such a deep level. I don't know about that one. I never felt more safe and comfortable around any other person. That might be nice.
Well, that's a good point. I think
Mhm.
that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think women want to feel safe around their
Mhm.
partner, around to feel a
Absolutely.
guy. So, do you need to say that? I don't know if as a guy, I don't know if I need to hear that. I would just kind of expect that there's some level of safety. Otherwise, I'd be, wow, you're like dangerous.
Yeah.
That could be provocative or sexy in a way, and a little bit, but you don't want like danger Will Robinson here when you're dealing with your partner, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. The here, I've never been more turned on by anyone. I could say that. You make me weak in the knee so often. I don't think I could say that, but yeah, nobody ever turned me on as much as you. That would be nice to hear.
If it's true, and I
Mhm.
think the timing of that is important too. If it's like, all right, if you're like having dinner and you tell the guy that, it's like, check please, you want to make something of that. If you're a guy, if you hear that, I turn you on, let's go. Because
Mhm.
I think every guy would be more than happy to hear that.
Yeah. And then to your point that you are the funniest guy I know. That
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Huge, huge. Because funny is sexy too. Let's face it.
mhm.
I think for women, you tell me if I'm wrong. A guy having a good sense of humor is a great quality, right? That's a sexy quality.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the number one qualities that comes up
Right.
in a lot of surveys, and is also one of the key elements of making a relationship work. Can you laugh together? Do you make each other laugh? So, again, that could be a whole other
Hmm.
topic. I think, in closing, what I want to say is, to me, one of the biggest compliments, and again, this isn't about me, this is about what women say to men. So I'm asking you is just like, I really like you. You're great. I just love being around you. I just really like you, not love. We hear that a lot, but I just really like you.
I don't know, but like then of course a guy's going to think, well, does she love me? She likes me? Am I a friend? Like I really enjoy, even if you're with your partner, if you've been with somebody for a bunch of years, I really enjoy being around you.
Mhm.
And I've said that to my wife. We go out to lunch or something. I'm like, I'm always happy when we get together because I'm never bored when we talk. And it's always interesting. And I'm learning stuff and we're sharing things. And just that, I mean, that wasn't
Mhm.
very articulate the way I stated it, but I meant it. And I think it means something. And whether, I don't know how she filed that, but if I feel like saying it and it's a good thing, why not say it? So I think that's kind of the cardinal rule. If you really feel something that your partner's doing that's positive with your guy, just
Mhm.
let him know in the words that seem natural to you. And I think that'll go a long way and he'll be appreciative. And if he's not, eh, bye.
Well, and I think you've already said, just whatever you say, have it be genuine, and then it
Yeah.
will be received that way. I think this was a great topic. Be interested to hear the comments on it. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
I think just, be authentic. Again,
Mhm.
your partner does something you like, let them know. What's wrong with that? And that goes a long way and be sincere.
Thank you, Robert. As always, we'll link to all of your information, to your book, to your podcast, to your YouTube channel, and I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Silka.